to the CFG GameCast episode number 19, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays and release a podcast services like on Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. So show us some love. Follow us on our Twitch channels to not miss an episode. You can always check out Flexus's awesome fighting games on Flexus. 2 underscores, not 1. The other first one may take you to porn. I'm just kidding. No, let's go with 2. Or you can go on Smitty2447 to check out some awesome Overwatch / variety streaming content. Or you can check out the awesome crew with Mr. CFG himself on CFG Games. We just play a lot of different kinds of fun stuff. I am Davis Green, and with me today are a group of fellow gamers. This week we have Flexus is back on with us today from her nice trip or / vacation. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, feeling good. No more jet lag, which is really nice. So.
Oh yeah. Oh God, how bad is jet lag for you?
So I've heard that jet lag is harder for people going from West Coast to East Coast than East Coast to West Coast, and it's like a 2-hour time difference in Chicago. So it was actually pretty rough for me because like I'd have to go to bed earlier than I normally do, just because it would be like so dark out and then wake up. It was really weird.
I think on top of the fact that like you're in Chicago, but the day isn't long. Is it longer or is it shorter in when you go further north though? So like
I have no idea.
Yeah, so it's because it could be like 6 o'clock at night. It could be 6 o'clock and the sun's already set, as opposed to Arizona where it's like, hey, it's going to set at like 8:30,
right?
And stuff. So yeah, so that's all. Yeah, it's funny, but but still, but that's cool though. That's awesome. Did you enjoy your trip?
I really did. I was able to have a good time, and I had a couple of cool opportunities with the fighting game community to do commentary and play some sets and compete while I was there. So that was really neat.
Oh, I saw some of your commentary. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really good. I didn't. The only day I competed was for Samurai Showdown. I didn't do very good, like I always expect, because I never practice. But the commentary was really fun. I ran my first bracket. So shout out to Low Kick briefly for having me help out with that and letting me do commentary and bloat my ego by talking about fighting games. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. It's also cool. I mean, it introduces you to more aspects of it. So that's always awesome. That's all you can ask for. So awesome, cool deal. And with me today, as always, I got the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. How you doing, man?
Doing well, my friend. Week 2 of the new job ended. It was fantastic. It's been great. I managed to stab myself in the finger last week, so that was ridiculous.
Okay.
I was trying to. So there was a zip tie around these XLR cables, and I was trying to. You know how tight they are. So I was trying to get the scissors in between, the XLR cable and the zip tie without messing up the cable or anything. And I'm sitting there trying to kind of force it, and it like slips out, and like I have I'm holding it like this, and I'm just like right here in the crease of your finger is where I got myself. So like, man. Of course I'm bleeding all over the place. I'm like, gosh damn, man. It's like, come on, man. Like, I'm just here. I was like, I'm not even 2 weeks deep and I'm over here stabbing myself. It's like, come on, buddy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was crazy. But yeah, I really got in, starting to work on some of the bigger things that we're going to be releasing towards the end of September. I also, we talked about over there, we're going to test for doing a gaming and esports podcast for them as well. well, I'll be working with another guy that's an editorial. So I'm excited about that, to have that opportunity. Yeah, that could be huge, especially on a local level. No one's really doing it, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure there are some people, but the company is a pretty big company as well. So they have a huge audience. So I think, that could, I think the opportunity is there, and it could be a good opportunity to expand some. So I'm excited.
That's cool. Like,
That's
once again,
awesome.
just taking, yeah, no kidding. Like, take advantage of any opportunity that comes to you, man. That's really the cool thing about it. So, yeah, definitely keep it up, man. That's awesome. And
Absolutely.
as always, yeah. And as always, I've just been working as it usually goes. We were covering 3 different events at the same time this last weekend, so this was kind of uh kind of annoying. It was really annoying on just keeping up with all of that, but at the same time, like, I had no sleep yesterday because of a water leak that decided to randomly come out where I'm at. So,
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah. So, and then, it's funny. I feel like it's my fault though too, because like what happened was that like in the morning I was like, I always like to on the beginning of the weekend I like to go do my laundry. So I go into the laundry, put all my stuff inside, and then I'm like, okay, cool, turn on the water. So I'm gone, and I'm like, okay, time to go to sleep. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I come back, and then I'm seeing that the water is still just coming up, like just spouting all over the place because the faucet broke because it fully corroded. So I had to use a wrench to shut the
my
water
gosh.
down, and there's a giant pool of water. Yeah, so
Oh,
I had to go
no.
yeah. It was ridiculous. We got that fixed today, like maybe literally 3 hours before we started the podcast, and
Nice.
it cost me almost $600, and I'm like, Jesus, like, I'm about to go to Japan too, and it makes me so mad that I'm like I had to drop it on this, and yeah, so
So
yeah,
the real
so it was
question
kind of.
is, so the real question is, are you wearing clean clothes now?
I am wearing clean clothes. I had literally so like the load I had was literally just specifically was my my workout shorts and all my my
Okay.
pants and stuff. And then I'm like, luckily I had like two good pairs left. I was like, thank God. Because I'll be wearing slacks all over the place. But that is cool. That's cool. But anyways, let's get down to it, and we'll be getting in on the fun. So, as always, each of us will choose a new topic of discussion within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened in the gaming industry. And we also don't want to just talk about it ourselves. We also want you, the viewer, the viewer, to go check to be a part of it too. So, if you have anything interesting to say, or you have your own 2 cents about what we're talking about, chime it in inside the chat. Smitty here will definitely check it out, and if it's good, if it's really cool, we'll put it inside our podcast too, with good reps and stuff. So definitely, it's all good fun, and we definitely enjoy the company and opinions too. Okay, so let's get to it. I will start, since I don't think I've started in a long time, so kind of forgetting a little bit, kind of been forgetting a little bit. So let me kind of get back in the groove of it. So my thing was the announcement of Resident Evil. So it's funny, I have like a weird love-hate relationship of Resident Evil. Like, when it first came out, I hated it. Like the first one was cool, but I did not like 2. It didn't make any sense to me. But then for some reason the remake kind of got my love back into the series again. No, I'll take it back. Resident Evil, the game that reintroduced the series back. Like, I guess it was Resident Evil 7, came out about 3 years ago. That got me back into liking the series again. And so when I started, so now when they announced recently that that they are going to be adding there's a new project that Resident Evil is going to be doing that I was definitely hyped. They don't have the official name, but they're going to be revealing it at the Tokyo Game Show this year. So so in the article of Polygon that I'm referencing this, Capcom will reveal a new Resident Evil project called Project Resistance ahead of the Tokyo Game Show September 2019 on September 9th. So there's going to be a video on September 9th. And but they did release the teaser, like a teaser web page of it called Project Resistance, as Smitty, I'm assuming, is showing it on the screen right now. So so in Project Resistance, you see the RE is redded out, but then the other stuff is around. So we know. So this is basically their subtle way of saying, yeah, this is going to be a Resident Evil game, but it's not probably going to be something that we haven't seen before. The trailer is going to be revealed at Capcom's YouTube page at 8 a.m. PST. That's going to be that's a good time. And the Tokyo Game Show attendees will be able to watch gameplay at the Capcom booth at set times during the show. So I am surprised that we have the opportunity to be at the show for this year, because I'm definitely going to be. I've reached out to Capcom asking if I can get a press access to it. So that's simply awesome. So definitely looking forward to that. But so I'm totally hyped about this. I love horror games, even though I'm not good at horror, but I love horror games. So this one is one's close to my heart. I just wanted to see what y'all's reactions are towards the upcoming Resident Evil game.
Oh, I'm absolutely stoked for it. I'm a diehard Resident Evil fan. Particularly on the media side, I love the movies. I would do cosplay of Resident Evil back in my younger days, and I just love it. And I really fell in love with the remake I should say, for the second game. And so I was so excited to know that they're making a brand new one, because now I'm really starting to get back into the gaming franchise for Resident Evil. So, and I trust Capcom. They always put out good content and things like that. And Resident Evil's a classic game, so I can only imagine it's going to be good. I'm really stoked for it.
You like the movies? What movie did you like the best?
That's hard to say. I think obviously the first one is going to hold a special place in my heart, because it is the first one, and it's it introduced the series really well. And mind you, like, obviously the movies don't really follow the franchise very well, but it was still really enjoyable. They're really enjoyable.
Yeah, but the first kind of veering a little bit off course, but the first one was probably the best one when it came to the story. But to me, but then they kind of went a little bit on the silly side later on. But it was fun. It is true. It does put a special place in my heart too with the movies. But what about you, Smitty? Are you hyped? Did you ever play Resident Evil?
I'm not a Resident Evil person. Here's my deal. Man. Here's my deal, dude. I am not a big fan of horror games. Like, I don't need to be stressed out. I'm not playing video games to get stressed out like that. I am playing video games to de-stress. So, like, something about horror games. And don't get me wrong though, because I enjoy playing Dead by Daylight, but you don't ever really see me playing Dead by Daylight by myself. I enjoy playing it with my friends. It's creepy, but I feel like I got other people there. Like, when it's just me, you're just solo dolo. Like, that is terrifying, man. The noise, the sound, you know what I mean? Like, they do a great job with that stuff. But I've watched streams like that, and like that stuff just gets it's a lot. I've thought about doing them, you know what I mean, or trying them out, or so it may be something that I do in the future, just because I don't. Those games make me very uncomfortable. But it could be fun to do that. But yeah, I'm not really. Again, I have played some of the Resident Evils. I don't think I've ever beaten a Resident Evil, but I've played some. I remember having one for the Wii. I don't even know what that one is. I don't know I'm not really familiar with the storyline or any of that stuff. But they're fun games to play. I see why people enjoy them, especially if people have been following along the story. You mentioned the films as well, and I remember they started out like serious, and then they got really silly. But still, I mean, people enjoy them. People watched them. I think I watched almost all of them. I don't know if I watched the last one, but I watched them just to get some context of the game, because I haven't played through the games.
Oh yeah, well yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's like it is a grown taste to really kind of like to get into something that kind of scare yourself, because it does kind of. You're right. It does kind of pick up your adrenaline level a little bit when it's freaking you out. Like I think a game like Resident, but I don't know if Resident Evil. Now the new Resident Evil, the one that recently came out, that one scared the crap out of me, regardless of all the stuff, because of the first person views and stuff like that. But like the older one, not as bad. I would say it's not as bad. Now there are like jump parts of it.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh my god.
yeah, what I'm talking about, Flex. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, but for the most part, it's not as bad as you think it is. Now, if it's like Outbreak, then then I can easily see you never wanting to play a horror game like that again. Outbreak is pretty freaky,
Right?
Or
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy is a game that people tell me that I should try playing it like on the stream, but I can't do that because you're right because it's like I don't want to click on the camera and then come back and see a giant robotic thing trying to come and get me.
No, thank you. City makes a good point. I don't want to play a game that stresses me out.
Right, exactly.
But it's all fun though, But for some reason, I just something about Resident Evil just pulls me back in. It does I play I think I'm safe to say I have played every Resident Evil. And that's not including the regular games. That's also including Gun Survivor, the Gaiden, the ones that came out, the crappy ones that came out on Game Boy Color, the weird, just the weird ones, even the online, the all online one that was terrible. I think it was Outbreak 2. But something about Resident Evil just has something into my heart. It's almost like Metal Gear. I have to play every Metal Gear regardless, when it comes out. But this one, for some reason, I'm so anticipating this. I hope this game is going to be as good as I think it's going to be.
Yeah, and I think Capcom has been going in a pretty good direction as far as games go. Like I said, I really want to highlight the fact that the remake for Resident Evil 2 was so good, and so I have faith that Capcom will do it justice. But I guess we'll see.
Capcom. The only thing that Capcom. Yeah, the only thing that Capcom really just needs to do is to just put that kind of ingenuity, because Monster Hunter is killing it. This new Monster Hunter is going to be insanely awesome and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But the one thing that Capcom needs to just do is just show the same kind of love on fighting games. Just please, just y'all were so money on the early 2000s and you were dominating in the 90s, but this all of a sudden it just dried out. Now you're on two different. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, no one talks about because of how bad of a tank that happened, and but mostly even Street Fighter 5. There's things that could definitely be improved on this, and I'm sure Flex, you definitely have probably something to say.
I have a little bit of a list. I love the game, but
yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, but we definitely just need to get stuff like that. But no, when it comes to Resident Evil, bring it on. And I feel that game can be more than whatever it is, because I think the most recent Resident Evil has proved that, because the first person view of all of that was a completely different style that they never did before, and it wasn't relying on you to use ammo like crazy like Chris Redfield and gang and stuff. So yeah, I am hoping that they go on that awesome stream train a train of just awesome stuff. So so that is what's going to that was my 2 cents on it. So let's see. That was a good one.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, definitely. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm just so hyped about it. I haven't been so happy about. But again, I'm mostly known for RPGs. I like to play RPG story-driven games and stuff like that. And but this one is the small exceptions that I definitely want to go check it out. So
it'll be a good time.
Yeah. Smitty, you are on the hot seat. What is your topic?
So I wanted to touch on, I thought this was pretty interesting. I know that with and all the hype around Call of Duty Modern Warfare that'll be coming out, I played it. I enjoyed it. I think it's going to be hot, but they're definitely gearing it up. It's going to be and have an esports league. So they've been courting a lot of people, a lot of the same people that have been doing things with the Overwatch League and stuff like that. They've been courting. I went and did a little research because I saw that 100 Thieves, I know they were on board, and they recently actually just pulled out from committing to this Call of Duty league, and the reasoning why, and it totally makes sense to me. Is so Nade Shot, feeling like it's a big risk. It's $25 million as the franchise fee. That is nuts. And I understand now. So the way I see it is that they are treating this, because the people that have bought in, even within Overwatch League and stuff like that, are the sports owners, these billionaires. So 25 mil, you're a billionaire. That's not a lot. You know what I mean? To then be able to have a marketable esports team in your city where you can go out and sell those dollars. You're helping to build, and this is what I was talking about as far as this digital rise and esports really rising up and stuff like that. You've got these owners that see that potential. However, with this whole 100 Thieves, you're talking about now an organization that, again, they built that up from the ground up. So $25 million is a huge investment that you don't know if it's going to pay off, or not. So I can understand why, and I think you'll see that with these leagues. You're not going to really see these esports organizations be able to buy in on that larger scale, just because for them that's a huge investment, and that could be something that if it didn't work out, it would be absolutely crippling to their business and their organization. So I thought it was interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt there, but I was just wondering, because okay, so the highest, Jack, what's the largest pot that we've seen so far in an esports, tournament, in general? Is it around 25, was 25, 30 million? Or I think the Dota championship was at 35 point something million dollars as the pot for whoever wins it. So
wow.
to say that, for per team to join a league, at $25 million, that pot would have to at least, or would literally be over 100, four teams is $100 million in itself.
Right.
So and I just can't even imagine, how could someone be that far off, to a league to be that far off, to be asking that kind of cash for those kind of games, especially Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty is big. Don't get me wrong. And remember when Call of Duty earlier on, when it started, with Modern Warfare, the leagues were starting to come up, big leagues like FaZe and stuff like that was coming up. There was no way to say that you would want, to say that you're going to be risking $25 million if your team is going to win it all, or if it's not. I mean, that's insane.
Right.
Yeah. I think what's crazy too is with esports, don't get me wrong, esports is great and it's a growing franchise, but it's not nearly making enough money to justify that kind of buy-in. And I googled briefly real quick, and the top highest winning prize pool was only 20 million. And at the same time too, you have to look, only 20, that's still a big number.
That's less than the franchise fees.
Yeah. And that's I don't recall what game that was for, because I said, I just looked it up real briefly.
Right.
But I, as much as I love esports and as much as I'm happy to see it continuing to grow, I just don't think that the numbers are there. This isn't the Super Bowl football, or something that's watched around the world. This is still hitting a very much a niche market. So the fact that they have this kind of buy-in, I think, is a little far-fetched.
I mean, but they have teams. They have buy-ins. The people, again, it's these billionaires that have this kind of money to do it. That's their target audience. That's the way I'm taking that. Their target audience is trying to get on the, again, these franchise owners that own teams in different professional sports are getting, they're getting these leagues. So people, it's definitely, it hurts to be the small guy in this situation, these self-made organizations, because that is a huge risk for them. Whereas these billionaires is let's, they're on the come up with these teams. So people are paying it you know, and then that doesn't force them to have to lower the rates. And again, I don't know if it depends on the game, which I'm guessing it probably does. And I'm sure they've got a bunch of smart people up there that are running all kinds of numbers and this and that. But still, man, 25 mil for just a self-made thing, that's not reasonable.
No, I just think like first off, because I mean I kind of don't believe that whoever I think this was made out of pure greed, because to say first off, like esports has been highest at its prime. I'm not saying it existed only for 5 years, but it's been coming up from the past 5 years. It's like it's starting to get more popular, more prevalent within the past 5 years. Can you imagine if you start anything 5 years ago and you're saying that you're going to be your buy-ins for this is like as if it's a professional sport, like it's NFL level tier? It's like you can't. Look at Evo. Evo has been around since like beginning of like in the late 90s to now. And they're just now starting to get their comeuppance maybe the past 4 or 5 years to get into it. And still the pot size for the winner, like even for the biggest winner, is about maybe 35 to something $1,000. It's not even close to six figures. So I mean, to say that like, and then now, I mean, and then even how time and age is now with like, you know, so many different kinds of esports teams that now exist, like a crap load more than happens now. To say that you're going to be to say that you're that good, like if someone's going to say we're going to put down $25 million for entrance fees, and then say that your team is good enough to win, is like, wow. I mean, like that's like you're going all in. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like it doesn't even make it a business sense to even do that. I mean, I'm sorry to say, I just think that whoever set this up was in charge of to get like a short term and then straight up greed, because that's insane. Nothing's worth $25 million to go, especially if you're going to go if you're going to call it, if you're going to be a part and hide it underneath the esport as an esports league. That's insane. Yeah. Oh God, I can't even believe.
And I just want to read this quote from that article real quick. It says 8 of the 9 cities in the Call of Duty franchise league are also represented in the Overwatch League and backed by the same millionaires and billionaires. For those buyers, the $25 million expenditure is a way of doubling down on Activision Blizzard and trust in that company's CEO, Bobby Kotick. Although the city-based model has commercial appeal in traditional sports, there's no data to suggest it works in esports yet. The Overwatch League and Call of Duty will be the faces of that experiment in 2020. So, I mean, they're straight up saying, like, you know, it's untested water. So it's like, I mean, it legit is hey, throw in this money, this may not work, but if it does, you know what I mean? It's gambling. Yeah, gambling with a bunch of money.
It really is. Wait, so are they saying, like, do they kind of just say, we're gonna throw it out there? Here's 25. We'll put the thing at $25 million, and if it bites, it bites. If it doesn't, then oh well, we'll move on with something else. Is that what they're essentially saying?
I mean, I guess, but at the same time, too, you already have now proof of performance a little bit with Overwatch League. So the COD one is not just a straight blank slate. You know what I mean? They at least have some sort of template now that they can work off of, and they can model it off of that. Whether it's successful or not, I don't know. I think that's going to be up to how good the Call of Duty is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at about 100 million people roughly who play Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4. And let me look up the numbers real quick for Overwatch, because let's see, it's about 40 million players for Overwatch. And we've seen like how popular Overwatch is in Overwatch League. And I think Overwatch League is incredibly successful as or a great example of what esports can be. Because of the level of professionalism and the way it makes it a sport. So there's potential there. But again, 25 million, I don't know. I think it's still a little far-fetched. Like, yeah, you have millionaires and billionaires who have the money to spend and stuff like that. But I still don't know if there's that kind of money within esports to really, like, make a profit from it.
Yeah.
Because at the end
How
of the
are
day,
you going to
I
make
think
a
that's what
profit
they're
from
looking
that?
for.
I think I
Yeah.
think it ends up being a long game thing, though. I think they're looking at projections of the popularity of it, and they're anticipating it to get more and more popular. So the ROI is not going to come right away, right? It's going to come a few years down the road as it gains in popularity. They've already got a stake now, and they got it way cheaper than what it's going to be when it does start exploding and stuff like that. I think that's kind of how you look at that.
I don't know, but like, dude, there's going to be there has to be a level of a plateau how far like esports is going to go, because right now esports is still in its infantile state of where of what it can and what it could possibly be. But even though, like, if that's the case, we don't they like it's to say that you're going to be that far ahead on saying, oh, this is going to be competitive COD play. Like, we don't know, like, if there's going to be some sort of crazy crash that will happen, or a level that's going to be like people are going to be falling out of love of watching streamers or watching YouTube streamers and stuff like that. I mean, it's like it to say like to kind of go all in on that, to say that you're going to put $25 million now in this state of where esports is. I feel it's a little early. Is what I would say. Like, if it would come up, if it's more like if it was more established on what esports is, or a straight clarification of what esports is, because like you could talk to 100 people and then they'll have a different answer of what does esports represent. So like until we get to that point where we kind of get like we can equal out and kind of say, oh, okay, this is the kind of play that we're looking for this kind of play in the in esports, then by all means put $100 million. I don't care, but like but it makes it sound, it doesn't sound very good reflectively when you say you're going to put that kind of pot and then someone's bouncing out on you because that those fees are ridiculous. I mean, like that. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at right now. Yeah, because like I'm already cool with esports leagues. I definitely understand that people are trying to get that bucket, and then people are trying to get to be a part of that professional league. I mean, Flex is your part of it. But like, I'm just saying that they need to be smart about like what the real, like, where the realizations are, where on how or what they're trying to do to make it respectable. And you can't just throw that kind of cash, even if you're a trillionaire. It doesn't matter,
Yeah, that's true. Hold on, real quick. I wanted to say, Wilbo from the stream asked, "What do you think of Overwatch coming to the Switch?" I did not know that was a thing.
I didn't know.
There's rumors of it. I didn't know that. I didn't. Like, to be honest with you, I don't know 100% if it is true. But personally, like, I don't care. I mean, like, I really don't. I mean, I really don't care. I mean, like, it's like, to me, like, if it's funny because if you talk to my friend Preston, I always tell him, like, you need to play on PC. That's how you play it right. I mean, that's just my own opinion. You got to play that game right on PC. So every time when he's playing it, when I see him playing on console, I tell him, "Are you gonna play? Are you playing this game right?" And he understands what I mean. And then he's like,
This
"Yeah,
guy.
no, I'm not." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
No, you play it. You play it on console or you play it on PC?
I play on both.
Yeah,
I play on console and PC. Yeah, I don't know that I'd play on Switch though.
Loyalist with that game. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a smart move for Blizzard, just purely because they're expanding their outreach. So why not?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely is. I mean, the game definitely doesn't seem like it's very highly like graphically inclined for the Switch to have problems playing it. And then now you can play it on the go. Then I guess by all means. But I mean, it's not it's not my type of game. I'm glad that they're definitely going to be doing it. So that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely see. Cool. Well, was there anything else you wanted to chime in on the discussion, Smitty, or was that it? You good?
No, that was I just thought that was kind of interesting, and just to see those numbers, I was like, man, that is pricey. That is a pricey investment with no guarantee of return. That's
Yeah.
Good thing that good thing they didn't do it on Battlefield 5, I guess,
Oh wow. Could you imagine that? Lost revenue.
They would have been like, yeah, and that is my point. That's exactly my point about, like, I think it's too early to kind of be throwing in that kind of cash for it, because we don't know, man. I mean, you don't know if this game is going to be the end all be all like and stuff. We just gotta you kind of have to find the wave of how the community is going to attune to your game first before you're going to say, hey, it's going to be an esports league. Even though Call of Duty has been around for like 10 years, or the Call of Duty esports league has been around for a long period of time, it doesn't necessarily mean that every Call of Duty was a successful one for the esports, you know. So, so there we go. All right, Flexus, you are now on the hot seat. What is your topic?
All right, so I'm talking about we're gonna take it back to horror games. I'm talking about Man of Medan. Medan? Yeah, Medan. There we go. Man of Medan. Recently, a new game was released for major platforms, including PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, called Man of Medan. This game is an interactive drama, survival, horror, role-playing game developed by Bandai Namco and Supermassive Games. It's the first in an anthology called The Dark Pictures, a series of games centered around multiplayer horror gameplay. In this specific story, you and your team start off on a dive boat in the South Pacific. You are all on a hunt for a World War II wreck, but as the storm approaches, your party becomes trapped on a ghost ship as you all desperately search to find a way to escape the ship and its horrific history. Now, the game has great reviews on multiple platforms. It is now currently released for $30, I believe, on all platforms. It seems that
$30?
It's a little. I'm hoping it's going to be pretty lengthy for 30, considering it's one part of the anthology. But yeah, it's only $30, which is kind of nice. I think the key focus of this game is that the narrative includes extensive choice making where no playable character is safe. Each playable character can live or die based off your choices. And it's really heavily focused on choice making. Now, the really cool thing about it is it adds a multiplayer aspect to the game. For couch multiplayer, it is, I think, up to 4 players, where if it's online co-op, it is only 2. But what I'm really interested in, obviously, I'm interested to see the game, but I think we're starting to see this rise of multiplayer horror games that we haven't really seen before. I can't speak a ton or really recall a lot of games back in the day that were, true horror games that were multiplayer. I think there's a sentiment to horror games that playing it by yourself makes the environment a lot scarier. So when you add it was kind of interesting because Smitty mentions, he plays Dead by Daylight with his friends. He never plays it by himself. I think that accentuates the point that the games aren't as scary when you're with friends and things like that. So for this game to really say that, hey, it's going to be spooky and it's encouraging gameplay with other people, I'm really intrigued to see if it's going to hold up to what it's saying.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Wait, I guess you said this is part of a series here. Now, is this a full game, or is this like, let's say, a chapter, like episodic? That
so
leads into it. Do you know?
From my understanding, I want to say it's a full game. It is part of an anthology. I want to say there's going to be 4 games in total released for the anthology. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But I want to say it is going to be a full game, full story, things like that. So I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of good content for it. $30 is nice because for a brand new game, obviously it's not breaking the bank too much. But yeah, I guess we'll see for sure. I'm planning on getting it and playing it sometime this week. So you guys will get to see a little snippet of that on my channel later on.
$30. That's a great price.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely cool. Yeah, maybe possible couch co-op extra life stream if we all do it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty. That would be pretty nice. Yeah, I was just thinking, like you were saying, there's not a lot of multiplayer horror kind of games like that. Besides, maybe the thrillers here and there. The one that kind of reminds me of the closest to it. I wouldn't call it. I guess I wouldn't really call it horror, but more like multiplayer kind of creepy kind of stuff was a game that came out on PS4, I believe, like 3 years ago called Hidden Agenda. That would let you use your cell phone for, and that was actually pretty fun. You could play up to 8 players with it, with the phone, with the phone game. And I think the concept, but I kind of digress. But I think the concept of this, with a multiplayer kind of game that gives you that kind of freedom for the characters that you play, for them to live or die, and it won't tell you if you're doing it the right way or the or the wrong way. I think
Yeah.
that sounds amazing to me.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think,
So
like I said, the really interesting thing too is the fact that they're so adamant that this is going to be a really scary experience for all players playing it together. So, and I get scared easily. I totally get scared easily. And I know a lot of my friends do that. We're both interested in playing the game. So I'm really excited to see how they incorporate this like scary atmosphere with multiple people and, how to accomplish a way to scare everyone in the room and not just a single person that most single player horror games tend to do. Because I think obviously single player horror games really feed off of that sense of isolation and sense of being by yourself. So, like I said, I'm really excited to see how this game accomplishes that. But kind of turning towards again, we're seeing a rise in co-op play in horror games. I think that's really cool to see that. Smitty, you mentioned you play Dead by Daylight. How do you feel about multiplayer in horror games?
I enjoy the multiplayer. That's the only reason I can play them. Again, I am a chicken, and horror games just are not my thing, especially by myself. However, I'm able to play games like that in a multiplayer setting. I know I'm with my friends. I feel safer. We're having a good time. You know what I mean? It makes it a little less creepy. Whereas if it was just me, I'm all up in my head. Then I'm gonna freak myself out probably.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So the horror games are tough for me to try to play by myself. But I'm really interested in this game. I'm going to buy this game just because it sounds everything that I've heard so far sounds pretty legit. And as long as I have friends to play with, then I think I'll be all right.
I just really would love to see y'all's reactions. That's what I'm really there to be honest with you, just to see how this is gonna be. But yeah, because I don't really scare. I won't say I scare easy, but I do. There are the jump scares that usually sometimes get me, but like it's almost as crazy as like a flinch, but not like creeping or freaking out or screaming or anything.
Oh no,
like
that is totally me. I go all out. I'm very animated when I'm scared.
Oh, I hope it has the jump scares on this. And I guess the real question is though too is also like how long is this? Like, is it $30 is what I'm kind of, I mean, I shouldn't automatically think that it's going to be a short game at $30, but at the same time, I'm thinking it's going to be a short game. It has to be at least maybe 3 to 5 hours or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So
well, and I don't know if you guys, because I played Until Dawn. I haven't finished it, but I really enjoyed Until Dawn. That one was it had some creepy elements to it, but it also had a really good story, and I enjoyed it. I need to go back and finish it. So I'm excited. Again, I know that they can develop, and they've come out with some with that game, which I really enjoyed. So I think this game's gonna be pretty dope. I'm going to buy it this week. I'm going to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh man, I definitely need to check this out. I think the only time I would play it would be with friends though too, because like when you find games that are multiplayer or is pushed with multiplayer, it just seems like a better time to play with more people. I mean, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is the same kind of way. It's like I like the game is fun, but it's better when you play with a full team of 4. And like Monster Hunter, it's like you could play with one. You could play by yourself. You could fight these crazy monsters by yourself, but it's like. But you can't like freak out or just kind of scream or yell when you're not playing with your friends. So just to say that it is incredibly rare for horror games to be co-op, and for a game that's also kind of puzzling and things like that, like to do like how this game looks like it's like a gem in itself. So I definitely am gonna
it hits a really good niche market. So I think I'm hoping the game plays well, and I hope it does well too. So
heck, it's a new market, really. I mean, like, can you name me another like multiplayer horror game? I don't.
Particularly an RPG.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me see. Multiplayer horror games. Let's see what they come up. And I don't really consider Dead by Daylight or Jason Friday the 13th to be horror game. The recent ones to be horror games because they're not really, horror. They're not really horror. It's more like it's like an arena kind of thing. So
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, like
really,
they have horror
yeah.
aspects to it. It's very much like a thriller kind of game. But
Mhm.
like after a while, it loses that novelty and it loses that
Mhm.
suspenseful feeling, and it just becomes a game of hide and seek.
Yeah.
And fix the generator. So,
Right.
Fix
like
the
I said,
generator.
yeah, it's
Fix the generator
and
so we can
it's
leave when
not
the exits.
right. It's not an RPG by any means. So, and again,
Yeah.
this is kind of a potentially untapped gold mine for gaming. Is the idea of horror RPGs being multiplayer, and if you really accomplish a story that really, I guess, what's the word? It really makes you like kind of fall into the story itself and you come like
Mhm.
very involved with it. It's there's a lot of success I can see there, especially with Halloween coming up. So
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, big time,
Exactly.
big time. What's it called? I just saw what I just didn't even think about this, but Resident Evil 5 technically is a multiplayer horror game.
yeah.
So yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah. So yeah, so we'll see. Like, I mean, we'll definitely see how this goes. I mean, I would like. Well, I'll probably have to go by y'all's thing because
I'm gonna
y'all are gonna
play
be
it.
getting it
Yeah.
here first. But for the most part, I think this is cool for Namco Bandai to do, and it just seems kind of like out of the blue for some of this. Then I couldn't help but noticing in some of the video that they got some pretty good stars like T1, the guy who played T1000 in Terminator 2, and and
Yeah.
Robert Patrick.
yeah, Robert Patrick. He was
Yeah.
at one of the videos. I was like, "What is that, Robert Patrick?" And it's like, "Yep, it was."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
And
what's
like
his
I
name?
said, I was gonna say some reviews have already come out for the game, and it's been pretty well received. So, like, I haven't seen it like either 5-star out of 5 or like 8 or 9 stars out of 10. So, it's
Mm.
definitely it's there's potential there, and like
Oh yeah, big
graphically
time.
too, it looks decent. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the best looking game in the world, but it still looks
Mhm.
like good.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah, so I
agree.
mean, yeah, you can't really fault him on that one if it's good and I guess good enough, I suppose, and then they focus a lot
Yeah.
more on the story. So that's pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to trying that one out. But that one has to be on the unfortunately for me, it has to be on the good old bench saying I will play this one eventually, but we'll see.
Yeah.
There's just so many games. Like just even in this week alone, I mean, they have what's it called? Uh like what you got Monster Hunter come Friday, you got Borderlands 3 coming out the week after, like next week. It's gonna be pretty stacked right now for me. And then like that's the game that's waiting for me when I get back home from my
Right.
when I
Yeah.
go. So yeah. So no, I got a lot of other stuff to do. So, but yeah, that will be cool. I know. I can't wait. You need to also check out Blair Witch Flexes. That
Yes.
just came out too.
Ooh.
Doc is playing that. He
Let
was
me
playing that
write
the other
that
day.
down.
Yeah. He said it's
Yeah.
creepy. He said it's so creepy.
Yeah, but if you like that kind of stuff, yeah, because like I was thinking about that, and that's a one-player game, and it's only out on Xbox One and PC right now. But yeah, definitely check that out if you love horror games. So I don't. I'm kind of on the fence on wanting to try that one at all. 'Cause
Yeah.
I
That movie
remember
freaked me
watching
out,
the movie.
man.
That movie did
Yeah.
freak me out. I'm not gonna lie, that movie did freak me out when it first came out. So yeah, I'm not a lesser man of admitting that.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah. So, but we'll definitely see. But good, that was a good one. Flexes. So we'll definitely check
Thank
that
you.
one. Check her out, and we'll definitely play. We'll like if we do it, we should do it on Extra Life if it's interesting. It's like if it's a lot of talking and stuff,
Yeah.
then it might be something different. But we'll see. Or
Right.
we could do I'm just thinking, or we could do what's it called? Monster Prom or something like that.
I think I have that Monster Prom.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll figure it out. All right, so we'll cut this one short as all. And everyone, thank you for stopping by on episode number 19 on CFG Games, the CFG Gamecast. Sorry, once again trying to get all the credit, but yeah, CFG Gamecast episode number 19. Thank you. You could always check us out on we always release the podcast on Mondays, and you can check us out on podcast services like Apple and Google Podcast, as well as Podbean and everything else. And as always, Smitty, what are you streaming? What's your plans for streaming this week?
I will be live Thursday and Friday, and then of course we'll be recording the episode 20 of the CFG Gamecast next Saturday. So it should be a good week.
Wear your bow tie and top hat and monocle for that one. So congratulations on that one.
I wish I had that.
Flexus, what are you streaming this week?
All right, so I'm actually going to be streaming after this stream. I'll be doing a short little Street Fighter lobby, but tomorrow I'm actually very excited because I'm going to be hosting a Ladies Night lobby for Street Fighter. You can find us at Ladies Night FC on Twitter. We're actually getting ready to announce we have an official Twitch page, so I'm very excited we're going to get to stream on that. Otherwise, like I said, during the week, I'll probably be picking up Man of Medan and playing that, so you guys can catch me there as well. So just follow me on social media or follow my Twitch page to keep up with my schedule, because I tend to stream randomly.
Okay, sounds awesome. Thank you. And you can also check us out, CFG Games. I too will be probably streaming. I need to get some dinner first, but after that, I will be streaming some more Monster Hunter, getting hyped for Iceborne, so needing to play with some friends. So you can always join and play in with us too, as well, on CFG Games. We always put the friend code, and we like to have a little community of friends while we play. So definitely stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, this week I will be heading out to Japan, so we're going to be putting a little bit of a hold on our normal streams. But then at the same time, we'll be. I'm actually debating. I don't know. I've been thinking about it, but if I should do any kind of stream on the floor at TGS, but it's just so much work. I don't want to deal with it. It's just too much work. But we'll figure it out. But we'll definitely check us out, CFG Games, on anytime, and for any future updates and things like that. So once again, this is Davis signing off with Smitty and Flexus. Y'all have a great day.